I've said it once, I'll say it again. You guys sure know how to be patient, and I hope that this profile was worth the wait. What's going on, you guys? Slim here to finally bring you guys the pure MEKK-KNIGHT deck profile that you guys have been waiting post the September 2020 ban list. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing, hit that notification bell. You guys will be notified whenever I upload. You guys will be notified when I stream over on Twitch. Link is in the description. If you want to purchase any of these cards to build this deck yourself, consider using my TCG player link in the description below. A portion of what you spend goes back to the channel. It helps me out, and I really do appreciate it. And lastly, if you want to join my Patreon, we got a bunch of exclusive content over there. The side deck and an in-depth discussion with side deck choices and changes to the deck and the potential future will be over there on my Patreon. Link is in the description below as well. I have 3 different tiers. They're all cheap, nothing over $10, and any tier will get you into the exclusive access as well as a bunch of rewards depending on which tier you join. But if you guys are able to join, I appreciate it. It supports the channel, and I'll see you guys over there. But let's get into the deck profile. I know you guys have been wanting to see this forever. I really took a long time to really just kind of perfect this because I had a hard time with ratios and I wanted to keep the deck 40. I personally believe that this deck has to be at 40 because this isn't MEKK-KNIGHT Invoke. This being pure MEKK-KNIGHT, like you're really just trying to just slap as many monsters on the board and just OTK your opponent. You're not relying on Alistair. Your normal summon basically is just Gearsu, and I mean the deck is just very strong, but I'll talk about my card choices and hopefully you guys do enjoy. Be sure to smash that like button. You guys have been killing it lately. You guys have been really helping with the views, the analytics, everything. So just know I appreciate it. I want to keep making this awesome content for you guys, but let's go, you guys. Triple copies, of course, of Gearsu. This is your main normal summon. This card is just, ever since I first got this card for MEKK-KNIGHTS, I just knew, like, I don't even play Orcus. I wanted this card literally just for MEKK-KNIGHTS because this card is just so insane. The fact that it can generate a token, the fact that it can, you know, send one of my World Legacy cards, it just says so much for the deck, and I just absolutely love this card. The fact that it creates a column is just mind-boggling. Like, I'll tell you, like, that is just mind-boggling to me, like, how strong this card is. So, of course, you have to play 3, and then all the usual suspects of MEKK-KNIGHTS are here. Of course, triple purple, our new school wind-up rabbit, triple copies of blue, of course, his partner in crime. Purple and blue are obviously the best ones, the ones you max out on. Being able to banish and search, and then being able to search extra cards is just insane. You guys should know from all my MEKK-KNIGHT Invoked deck profiles that those two are obviously the best. Since this is pure MEKK-KNIGHTS, we are of course playing 2 copies of Moveman. Moveman might actually be low-key the best MEKK-KNIGHT in the deck, and I say that because this card comboed with Secrets and Morningstar can end up being like 4 negates. Is actually like insane what you can do with this card. Like, I can't believe like the crazy things you can do. The fact that he can move around and you can, you know, summon him, and then you can move around, do 1 negate, move around, get a second negate, summon another one, move around, get another negate. Like, if you open right and combo right, you can actually get like 4 negates on the board, which is just like crazy. You'd think in a deck like this, how is that possible? But it really is, and Moveman really is that good. So of course we got to play 2 of them. This card's amazing. And then we have all the supporting MEKK-KNIGHTS. We have red, yellow, and we do play green. So I want to give 2 shout outs first. I want to give a shout out to the YouTube channel Winter Kills. He gives really good MEKK-KNIGHT deck lists. He's one of the only other channels I know that religiously plays this deck, so I get a lot of my inspiration and info from him. And then of course to my boy Shannon Long, the MEKK-KNIGHT god. He has always, you know, kind of been my inspiration for playing this deck, and he emphasizes how important Green Horizon is. A lot of people don't pay attention because they're just looking at red and yellow, pops monsters, pops back row, but what Green Horizon does is it can help you recycle cards, and that's really important. It's also for a MEKK-KNIGHT name, so it does come up. I think that this card is just really solid. Like, you don't have to play it. Like, you could play something else, but I feel like these are the ideal MEKK-KNIGHTs to play. We don't play Avram because we're not relying on the vanilla or wanting to play Link Spider in our extra deck. We want our main normal summon to just come from Gearsu. So this is the main MEKK-KNIGHT lineup, and I think it's very solid. Like, you guys need to test this card out. Like, you play every MEKK-KNIGHT but orange, so I mean, you guys can just test this out and see how you guys like it. But I mean, it's been good, especially in like the grind games, because a lot of times this deck doesn't have a grind game. Like, a lot of time you'll just OTK the opponent, but when you do have grind games, the card does come up more than it wouldn't. So I really like the card. And then the last like regular monster for the deck is the World Legacy World Chalice. So I play this. I don't play the World Armor. I cut the World Armor only because that card was just kind of like a break. Like, it was good, obviously, like you could send it, then you could reborn it if you want and get some other plays going, but we're not main decking Scars in this build, and the reason we're not main decking Scars is because that is strictly a going first strategy, and honestly, all hand traps that are running around this format, it'll be very rare that you resolve it. Like, I just gotta be honest. So that's why I chose to cut it from the deck, and I felt that this was just the better card. This is a card that if you draw it, you can also discard it off of Morningstar for his effect, so it does come up in that sense. Granted, it is the only target you're sending for Gearsu, but it's honestly all you need. You can also recycle it as well. So I think this card is very solid. And I think that it's something that more players will see. This is definitely the better target for Girsu in the long run. Being able to search cards later on in the game is important too. So that's it for the monsters. Now for the hand traps. I think this was the hardest part of the deck. I gotta be honest. This is the hardest part of MEKK-KNIGHT Invoked, or MEKK-KNIGHTs in general, because you have to figure out, okay, what are my ratios going to be? And there are so many hand traps I want to play. Like, I really had a hard time like figuring out, okay, what do I play? And that's where I want to give again a shout out to Winter Kills, because he gave just like really good explanations. I noticed him, Shannon Long, they all were like fans of 2-ofs. And while most of my decks don't include a lot of 2-of hand traps, I made an exception in this deck because I felt that there's just so many good hand traps I want to play. I don't want to play them in 3 and then see too many hard ones per turn ones. I want to see ones that'll be impactful. So we played a lot of hand traps in this deck. We played 2 copies of Nibiru, 2 copies of Phantasme, 2 copies of Ash, and my difference to the deck that I don't think a lot of people are doing is I'm doing 2 copies of Drolls. So I'll explain my choices. So Nibiru should be obvious. It's still really good, just really good against Dragon Link. Just, you know, they don't expect it and you literally just rock their world, no pun intended. And this card also creates a column, so card has obvious synergy with the deck. Phantasme, this is probably the only deck that can really utilize Phantasme. The fact that this helps you draw cards, you're strictly going second deck. This card really helps you. It puts another body on board, so OTKing with your MEKK-KNIGHTs is so easy. I'll be honest, a lot of times you're just going to OTK with your MEKK-KNIGHTs and barely even go into your extra deck. It's pretty crazy. Phantasme is just nuts in this deck. I want to play 3, but like I said, I just want to play 2 of so that I have a good variety of hand traps. Ash is still the most generic. I don't think I really need to talk about that. Now, Droll. Most people don't play Droll. People are playing Valor, and I had Valor in here for the longest time until I paid attention to the LCS. Dragon Link's everywhere, you guys. Infernoble is everywhere. You need a card that just hard ends their turn, and Droll is that card. I'm not gonna lie, this could be a card that I might even bump up to 3 in the future. I think this card, this is another Droll and Lockbird format, and when it's a Droll and Lockbird format in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have to play the card because it literally says your opponent's turn ends, and if a deck like this can end the opponent's turn, set up some columns, and just start going to town with MEKK-KNIGHTs, it's insane. So I think Droll is really strong in this format. I highly suggest you guys test it out. If you don't want to play this, you can play Valor or something else in the main deck, but personally I think Droll is insane right now. If you watch the results of the LCS, a lot of the decks are playing Droll either in the main or side deck, and I think that's definitely something we should take note on, that Droll is definitely a card that you want to play in this format to stop decks like Dragon Link and any deck that really searches. This card is actually really insane. It stops a lot of searching, even in the Dinosaur deck, a lot of the stuff where any of those decks search a lot, you literally just cut them off from that, so it's pretty crazy. But that's it for my monsters. For my spells, probably one of my favorite spells in the deck is Dark Ruler No More, and yes, I'm playing this over Droplets. Droplets, it's not that good in this deck, I gotta be honest. Dark Ruler is just better. Dark Ruler is better, like, you really don't want to get rid of any of your MEKK-KNIGHTs. Like, you're going second, like, you need a card that just blankets their board and they just you literally rip their board apart with MEKK-KNIGHTs. Like, Dark Ruler plus MEKK-KNIGHTs, you rip that whole board apart. And Dark Ruler is also just amazing against Dragoon. It just shuts off the whole board, and I think that's what matters the most. Droplets is great and all, but I don't want to have to give up cards, lose advantage of my hand, especially when I don't have that synergy. In MEKK-KNIGHT Invoked, I had that synergy. In this deck, I don't have that synergy as much, because the MEKK-KNIGHTs are a supporting engine in that deck, where here they're the main focus of the deck. So Dark Ruler, 100%. Shout out to the budget players, just play that card. Now, unfortunately, the card that's not budget, but I wanted to test it out, was Triple Tactic Talents. So Shannon Long improvised playing, he was the first player I ever saw to play Pot of Extrav in this deck, and I had this card in here for the longest time. However, with the format change and also the introduction to this card, I wanted to play it, and this card has actually been insane. So this card literally says draw 2, or take an opponent's monster without targeting, or take another card out of their hand. When they like waste their hand traps on our MEKK-KNIGHTs, which is kind of the point. Summon a MEKK-KNIGHT, active effect. Oh, you want to hand trap me? Okay, chain talents. I'm either going to take your Dragoon, I'm going to look in your hand and rip another card so that you're at less advantage, or I'm going to, you know, draw 2 cards to keep going. I can't tell you how many times this card has literally saved my ass, and you just keep playing because of it. I highly suggest you guys should have this card. I mean, this card is just one of the best cards of the format, and I highly suggest that you guys get it, because this card is just insane for what it does, especially for this deck, since you're going second deck. Worst case scenario, since it's a normal spell, you can set it and then just create columns. I think that's what sold me on the card as well. Whereas Extrav, you have to activate it the minute your turn starts. Triple Tactics, you can kind of just wait it out and activate it when you need it. So very, very solid. Rest of the spells, of course, probably everyone knows the best card in the deck, World Legacy Memory. This card just does everything. It's MEKK-KNIGHTs. This is the best card. This is an emergency teleport for MEKK-KNIGHTs. This card's bonkers. Like, this card is insane. So you're locked into MEKK-KNIGHTs in this card. Oh no, guess what? We play pure MEKK-KNIGHTs, so this card's amazing. So I don't even need to explain that. And then I got the one one-ofs, I got the Succession, which is the Reborn, the Key, which is actually pretty cool because this card will negate traps, and that does come up against decks like Guru, Altergeist, any of those trap decks. Just very solid and helps you recycle a banished MEKK-KNIGHT, so that does come up. Like, you can literally go World Legacy Memory, special purple, banish purple, activate Key, get back purple, resummon purple because you didn't summon it through its in-hand effect, so that does come up, trust me, it's pretty solid. And then the only spell and trap removal I play is Harpy's Feather Duster, so I thought about putting in a copy of Lightning Storm or something like that, but then I realized again, we're just going to ransack through all these decks, and back row decks are not as prevalent as they were before. However, I'm still respecting them. Duster's the card to play. There's no reason not to main deck this card in this particular deck for the fact that you are strictly going second. This card's just insane. Like, the thing with Lightning Storm is that, like, it'll blow away the whole board, which is cool, and I'll be honest, I wanted to include it just because the synergy with Dark Ruler is very strong as well. However, if you just Dark Ruler the board, you just start breaking the board, and if you Dark Ruler Lightning Storm and there's nothing on your opponent's board, you have to create your own columns, which kind of sucks. So honestly, I just wanted to test out Harpy's Feather Duster. It's been 16 years since I got to play this card, so there's no reason not to include it in the deck. So that's obvious. That's it for the spells, and then just for the traps. My last hand trap, of course, triple impermanence. One of the only ones I'll play 3 of. I think this is the best hand trap right now. This is easily one of the best hand traps of the format. It doesn't lose to tactics, which is fantastic. This card is just nuts. You're going second deck, being able to draw it as your 6th card is crazy. You can also create columns at worst, so the card is fantastic. And then the bread and butter of this deck, 2 copies of World Legacy Secret. I originally was playing 3, but again, I wanted to keep the deck at 40, so I cut it to 2. This lineup has been perfect for me. Like, I've had no issues with this lineup. This card is just insane. This card is your skill drain. This with Morningstar and with Indigo Eclipse, you're just negating everything your opponent does, so it's extremely solid. But that's it for the main deck. It is again 40 cards. Extra deck for you guys real quick. The best card in the deck is Morningstar. We went all the way up to 3. I had never played 3 before, and then the way I tested more, I listened to videos, and this card is just insane. This card just does everything. If people don't read this card, I've said it before, if you don't read this card, like, you can't destroy it, you can't deal damage. This card is nuts. This card was being able to search secrets or any of your other cards and then set up with Indigo and other MEKK-KNIGHTs to negate your opponent's plays is bonkers. Like, this card is insane. This card is the bread and butter of the deck. I feel like you have to play 3 of it in the main deck. The 2 Link ones that I play are All Mirage and Link Kribo. These are just very simple. This is for like the hand traps. I'm gonna be honest, you're gonna draw those weird hands and you're gonna have to summon and then go into that, and I mean, it is what it is. And then Link Kribo, same thing. Like, you can turn your token into a Link Kribo and then just start. It creates a column, so it's very solid by itself. So very strong. I just didn't play. I didn't play Link Ross and I didn't play Link Spider. I just don't need them. We're not doing wombo combos, so we don't have to do that. So these cards have just been plenty. This is probably like the next best Link. Lib is insane. It's generic Link 2. Helps you, like, set, if you have the World Legacy Chalice in the grave, like, you literally just get to activate a World Legacy spell and, like, just set it and then activate it. Like, it's crazy. This card's nuts. This card leaves the field, it spins another card. Like, when you go this and then you link it up into Unicorn, like, you're spinning 2 cards. Like, this card's bonkers. So I absolutely love this card. And I do play the Galatea because obviously we can make it with Girsu, and then that can help us go into our Ding Girsu. So it's very solid. Link 3s, I have, of course, the BLS. You make this card a lot just because your MEKK-KNIGHTs are huge, so there's no reason not to. And then the Unicorn for the other Link 3, like I already mentioned, you just Link Climb. This combo, this into this, spin 2 cards, is just ridiculous. So I really like that for this deck. I think that gives this deck a lot of synergy going second, like just destroy the opponent's strategy. And then of course I got the one Spectrum Supreme and the one Avermax. These are just standard in the deck. You make them really easily, and then your opponent just can't out them, and you just win because of that. You can also win in time with Spectrum Supreme. And then Access Code Talker, just an OTK machine. Play it over Boral Sword, just because, like, this card is just more synergistic. Like, you can pop more cards and just put out that with your MEKK-KNIGHTs, you just win. So card's fantastic. And then I do play Boral Load, so I'm testing this right now. This is probably the iffiest card in the extra deck. I play this just because it's a really good out to Dragoon, as well as just some other cards. If you bait the Dragoon, you can take it, so that's pretty cool. It's also just good against random stuff. Like, this could change. Like, this is just something I wanted to test the waters with right now, but this could be something that changes in the future. But for now, I like it, and I'm gonna keep testing it. If it changes in the next list, well, this will probably be the card that'll get bumped, so just keep an eye on that. That is just the card that's kind of the 15th, kind of the wild card right now. And then the last card, of course, is Ding Girsu. But that's it, you guys. Again, thank you for being patient for this deck profile. I know it's been a long time coming. I just really wanted to, make a list that I could be proud of and a list that I knew you guys would enjoy. enjoy. Again, if you guys want to build the deck, you guys already know, follow the link in the description below. If you guys want to check out the side deck, the in-depth side deck that we have for this deck, which is a lot of cool going for first cards. We have a really cool strategy built in to this deck. Since we are strictly going to second, we do have a really cool side deck for that that'll be over on the Patreon, and I said any tier will get you in there, so definitely just check it out if you guys want to further support the channel. But I love Pure MEKK-KNIGHTs. Shout out to everyone who loves Pure MEKK-KNIGHTs, Shannon Long, Winter Kills, all the people that actually believe in this deck, because this deck is so much fun. This is the deck I would play at an event right now just for fun. Like, I want to play this deck for fun. Like, I love this deck, and I feel that too many people sleep on this deck. Everyone is on MEKK-KNIGHT Invoked. Everyone knows I love Alistair to death. I am Alistair after all, but I absolutely love Pure MEKK-KNIGHTs, and when it comes to this deck, I want to keep testing it, keep perfecting it. I just want to play it at any event I can. But that's all I got to say for today, you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the profile. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts on Pure MEKK-KNIGHTs, any changes you would make, any things that you would like to bring to the table to improve the deck. I will definitely revisit them and update the deck as the format progresses, and hopefully make it better and better. But that's all I got to say. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.